So I haven't practiced a whole lot of Liberty work with Milo, so I was just doing this for fun. I wasn't planning on really doing any training, but it just kind of worked. So I didn't have any treats, and I was using scratches for praise, which is why I stop him and scratch him again when he is following me, just to reinforce that this is the behavior that I want. And he really likes scratches, so this type of reinforcement works really well for him. So all I was working on here is getting him to follow me, and then I started to introduce a cue where I pointed at the little cavaletti to get him to go over it. And then the scratches, once again, are just to target the behavior that I want as desirable and praise him for it. On a day where I was planning on doing a lot of training, I would also carry treats as a secondary reinforcer if he does something really good, or if there's a task that I'm asking him to do that is a little harder for him, so I want to praise him with something that's even more desirable than scratches. But this is a really good way to praise horses who are really food aggressive and can get pushy. So I would recommend using scratches if your horse is tactile enough if you want to avoid using treats. You can see the progression of him being more interested in what I'm doing as he realizes that he gets praised for doing it, and he gets more excited about going over the cavaletti when I was having to start leading him over it in the beginning when we started doing this. So he's definitely getting more interested in what I'm asking of him because he's realizing that this is a mutually beneficial exercise and that being around me is fun. Here you can get a better look at the fact that pointing him gets him to go over now, and he's realized the cue, and I'm really happy about how he did this, so he gets lots of praise now. It's also important to acknowledge the fact that even if your horse loves you and likes being around you, they're not always going to be interested for the entirety of a Liberty session. So oftentimes starting them out on a lunge line or a long rope or something to get them to realize the cues and what they're getting praised for is a good way to go. But I've done a bit of this in the past with Milo, so I didn't really start with that as much. I just hold on to his halter to lead him over to introduce a cue if I needed to. And now that I've put the cavaletti up, you'll notice that he starts to lose interest because the difficulty of the task outweighs what he feels the reward is worth. So now would have been a good time to introduce treats to get him to go over it, but I did not have any, so we just used the scratches, and I held onto his halter as needed because, as you can see, he's starting to lose interest in what we're doing because the reward isn't as exciting now that he's losing itches and he wants food. The people who have their horses following them around the whole time and doing lots of stuff work on it a lot and have really fine-tuned their cues and taught their horse that being around them is the best thing ever and that they're always going to get praised for it. So it's important to remember that these things take time. This was Milo's first Liberty session, so the fact that he was going over the jump when I pointed at it is a huge victory in itself. I'm going to include these clips to show you what I do when he starts to lose interest and isn't as forward coming to me. So basically, he's not following me right away, so I wait and encourage him to come over to me. And then when he does, he gets immediate praise for it. And I didn't have a treat. He was just licking my hand because that's what he likes to do. And the key is not making him walk long distances before I praise him because he's still learning. So if I make him work really, really hard before he gets praise, he's going to lose interest a lot quicker. So that's why I stopped and scratched him throughout the session after fairly short periods of walking. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I just want to make a point in saying that Liberty isn't completely about a bond. It's teaching your horse the result of following your cues and that it means something nice. I'm just going to include a video of our recent jump school from last week for the outro. The green jump is 3 foot and the red one is around 2.9, 3 foot. And then the rest are a bit smaller than that. I was super proud of him because he was forward and pretty bold to fences, which is really good for him. And yeah, so I was really happy with him. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would really love it if you check out the links in my bio and consider ordering merch from my store because it really helps me out in my journey in trying to afford things such as the truck I just bought, and then eventually a trailer is what I'm working to saving for, along with university tuition and all that fun stuff. So I really appreciate your support by watching and sharing my videos and checking out my merch store.